Good morning. I thought it'd be fun to do a Q&A video. We're still at the very start of VEGANUARY and I thought it would be helpful to just answer some questions you guys have and help you out for the month ahead. I put the questions up over on Instagram, so give me a follow there if you want to make sure that you don't miss like the next Q&A story. So I do them time to time and I think they're quite helpful for just seeing what you guys want and just catching up, I guess. I'm gonna make breakfast whilst we're doing this. I'm gonna have porridge for breakfast. You know, nothing too exciting, just a very basic vegan meal. I always measure it out first in a bowl just so I've got a better idea of like how much I'm gonna have, I guess. Sometimes I really misguess it. So the first question is whether or not there's any Veganuary launches I am excited to try, and I must say they've been quite underwhelming so far. I think this Kiev, so this isn't meat, whatever brand that is, they're bringing out a chicken Kiev and I find that their meats are very realistic, so I'm definitely keen to give that one a go. I feel like there are a lot of options for like a chicken Kiev on the market for vegans at the moment, but this one probably will be the best or like the most premium luxury tasting one, so I'm quite excited for that. And if you're curious about what Veganuary launches we do have, I covered that in my newsletter, so I'll leave the latest issue linked down below. But yeah, it feels like slim pickings, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there still might be a few to be launched next week. I feel like a lot of people really start the year on the 6th of January, which is tomorrow. Yeah, I think we might see a few more things. Some blueberries, raspberries. What made me go vegan? I see it's been 17 years. I mean, without a doubt, I went vegan for the animals. It was one of those things. I also do care about the environment, but I wouldn't really say that's what pushed me. Here I'm just adding in some cashew nut butter for like creaminess, but also some protein. And the taste is nice too. But yeah, although there are many benefits to being vegan, my whole motivation for making the switch was 100% animals. And yeah, I'd say the first time I found out about veganism was 2007. And the second I like read up on it, it just made complete sense to me as someone who was already a vegetarian, and I realised that animals are hurt and killed in the production of egg and dairy. I was like, oh well, kind of got to give up egg and dairy, haven't I? So that was by very simple. What are my weekly food essentials / always in my fridge? I don't know if I'm necessarily a fridge essentials person, but as far as like cupboard items go, I'd say one non-negotiable for vegans, especially if you like eggs, is black salt. This is just a salt that gives an egg flavour, so whether or not you're making like a vegan omelette or scrambled tofu or pancakes, I often add in a sprinkle of this, so I find this very handy. And again, like I guess in the fridge, tofu is something I often have, and usually like Lindsay McCartney sausages in the freezer. I don't have any at the moment, but that's also one of my faves. Yeah, I guess I've got couscous in here, nutritional yeast, chickpeas, baked beans, coffee, a syrup, chia seeds, just a few little bits. How do I reconnect with veganism? So this question has come from someone who's clearly struggling with going vegan, and I will say I don't really relate to that. The day I went vegan, it just felt so right. There was never really a time I ever doubted it. But I think it's just important to figure out like what has got you disconnected. Are you finding like the recipes a bit samey and boring? In that case, you know, get yourself a recipe book and try out like a new recipe every week or something like that. If it's all starting to feel a bit like fruitless and pointless and like you're running up a hill and no changes are getting made, I really recommend you watch my vegan trends video. I think it's just a big dose of reality. I feel like it can feel like veganism's on the drop and that we're not making a change, but we are. And I might do a few more videos kind of along that line, because I fear a lot of people are feeling that way. And I think that's just it, just identify what's got you feeling this way and try and figure out how you can switch that. Like often a good documentary will give you a kick up the bum. So yeah, here I've got porridge with some Oatly Greek style yogurt, berries, and what do I use? Soya milk and cashew nut butter, and of course porridge oats. My doctor told me to go vegan for weight loss. Is that a reason to go vegan? Generally, I think if you are overweight, I think veganism can really help with losing weight without really having to focus too much on anything else. It's a great way of getting more like fruit, veg and fibre into your body. And when I first went vegan, I wasn't really tracking my weight. I was only 13, but I did notice that my clothes were getting bigger and everyone was telling me that I looked like I'd lost weight. But back in 2007, there was a lot less processed vegan foods and a lot less opportunity to eat like junk foods like burgers and cookies and cake and stuff like that, which I'd say I probably ate a bit of as a vegetarian, particularly like the sweet treats as a child. So yeah, I feel like I've got a bit of mixed feelings and messagings on that one, but I think just generally I feel like it's easier to stay at a healthy weight as a vegan. I think the diet just generally lends itself to quite healthy meals and a higher intake of stuff like whole foods and vegetables and chickpeas and fruit, so it's not like guaranteed to help you lose weight. And it's definitely, I think if you're already a healthy weight, it's not like the secret to going skinny. But yeah, I'd say it's quite easy to be healthy on a vegan diet with a lot less effort. And that mostly depends on where you live and what sort of temptations are going to be available to you, I'd say. Oh wow, and that transitions well. So next question is, where do I live? So I live in London, and I've got a few questions about London, which I think I'll just try and answer all at once. But yeah, I live in London, England, and I was born here, so I've not really ventured far in life. I feel like living in London as well, you meet so many people who are born in like completely different areas of the world and have traveled so far to get here, and I've like just stayed here. But first, advice for moving to London. I would just say it's expensive. It's so expensive. Like, I live in a house share, very centrally, I'll admit, but like there are 4 of us in this house, and my rent alone is like just a bit over £1,000 a month, and that's pretty standard as well for rent in London these days. That's kind of like the lower end. And like I say, I live in a house share. It's not like I'm living alone in my own little studio. And on top of that, you often have to pay like a month's rent in advance and a deposit and all this sort of stuff. So you have to save up a lot of money to move to London. I actually did a whole video on renting in London around 2 years ago when I was really going through it, trying to find a new house share, basically. I met my current housemates through their room, so that's what worked for me. It was a lot of hard work, and it happened like months slower than I wanted it to. But yeah, like I said, I'll leave that video link below because I think there's so many tips and advice in it that is so relevant, and also you can see me in the midst of the struggle of it, where I'm a lot more passionate about it, whereas now I'm kind of like cozy on the other side. Do I think being in London is helpful to my job as an influencer? Yes, but mostly based on the sort of content I create. Like, I don't spend all my time at home in a kitchen doing like recipe videos. A lot of my stuff is ideally a bit more adventurous and fun and outgoing, and trying out new launches and going to events. And a lot of the events are kind of like the networking opportunities, chance to connect with the PRs and get to try out products without having to have the products. So I'd say for my brand of influencing, yeah, I've thought often about leaving London, again because of the prices. So expensive and so tempting to like pack up and leave, but I don't really have a pocket of friends anywhere else. When you're growing up in London, there's not really a easy place to escape to. Brexit pretty much ruined the odds of us moving abroad. If I left London, I'd want it to be to live somewhere sunnier. Brighton just doesn't cut it. And also Brighton's not enough cheaper for me to like uproot my life. But there are so many creators, especially vegan creators, who just stay at home and cook food in their kitchens. And in that situation, you definitely don't need to be in London. Like, you don't want to be in a house share. You don't want to be paying through the roof to try and make sure you've got like a kitchen with a skylight or good lighting. Like, yeah, those things aren't necessarily going to be helpful for you. What's right for me isn't right for every creator. And sometimes when you're freelance, the biggest priority is actually keeping your overheads down, which is so not London appropriate. But I think for me, I just know that if I left London, I'd just be spending all of my time and money just trying to get back in. I just don't see it being worth it at all. Is Mildred's worth the hype? Yes. So Mildred's is a chain restaurant in London, and it's like the biggest vegan chain restaurant, I think. Tofu Vegan's definitely up there. Yeah, Mildred's I think is just delightful. I've been there loads of times. I wouldn't say every experience has been amazing, but I'd say the majority of them have, and the food is just great. I will say though, the big plates are so big, so sometimes when I'm there, it's a lot to get even a starter and a main, let alone 3 courses, so be wary of that if you go. Fave new vegan restaurant to recommend? Honestly, I don't think we're getting that many anymore. Maybe I've just got my finger off the pulse. Yeah, I don't think anyone's thinking now is a great time to start a restaurant. But there was a new place in Fitzrovia that I went to late last year called Kin, and I think they've been a cafe for a while, but they've recently extended to be a vegan restaurant at night. Their food was really, really good. I think the cafe is mixed, and then the evening restaurant is 100% plant-based. I felt like that was quite a nice like special occasion, romantic evening date night sort of spot with really plant-based foods, where it's very much focused on like the vegetables and just being very, very fancy vegan foods for people who know how to work with vegetable rather than, you know, getting burgers and fake meat. Best way to make vegan friends other than become an influencer? I think all of my vegan friends I met through influencing, so that one is actually quite tricky. Oh, we used to have a few more events, like vegan nights I always found really fun because it would be a chance for me to kind of like meet up with people I'd kind of seen online. So I wouldn't necessarily be making new friends from scratch, but you would kind of like have a lot of meetups going on there. And I think influencers and non-influencers alike would make a lot of friends at vegan nights. It's not like officially closed, but they don't have any events in 2024, but their social media is still like teasing the next thing. So hopefully we'll see something in 2025, and it's not far from me, so I like to go there and say hi to people that watch my videos. It always makes my day, and it's such a low-key situation to do that in. Are Facebook meetup groups still a thing? I think if you hit Google and just try and find your local vegan group, I think most cities do have them, and maybe your local vegan or vegetarian restaurant does like supper club nights and stuff like this, and if they don't, maybe suggest that they do them and try and get the ball rolling there. I think stuff like that can be quite a low pressure way of making vegan friends. But honestly, I also say like give your non-vegan friends a bit of a chance. Like you would be surprised how many of them would be keen to try out a vegan restaurant. Maybe just put on like your story or a WhatsApp group, just being like, hey, I'm just wondering for this year if anyone would be keen to try out more like vegan and vegetarian restaurants with me, and just see if anyone bites, because I think a lot of people are curious about plant-based food, so don't shut out your non-vegan friends. Oh, I've got a couple of questions on skincare. Let's go. Favorite Lush products, happy to talk about it. So one of my absolute favorites is Skin Drink. This is my like daily moisturizer. I think it's just so nourishing, especially in the winter, so good for dry skin, but also like if you've got a rash or anything, it's incredible for that. I think I started using it last year-ish because I had a burn on my eyelid and I could not do anything to like soothe or heal it. Skin Drink came to the rescue, and I've also helped out like another friend who had a bit of a rash, and I was like, I'll try a bit of this, and it like cleared up next day. I'm not saying it's definitely going to clear anything up, but I am saying it's worth a shot if you're struggling. So I absolutely love that. Like any other Lush fan, I'm obsessed with Super Milk. It is a conditioning spray, like a leave-in conditioner. It smells incredible and it's really good for like detangling your hair, so I often spray it in right after the shower and my hair just smells incredible. It's one of the compliments I'd say I get the most. What else? On incredible smells, I'm obsessed with Twilight at the moment as far as the body sprays go. It's very comforting, it's very cozy, it's very vanilla-y. Oh my god, that's just perfect. I used to just spray it on my bed sheets, but now it goes everywhere, it goes all over me. Really moved on to that. And also my hair went a bit darker than I wanted to, so I've started using their big shampoo. That's doing a really good job of kind of like brightening up the hair and getting the dye off. So I wouldn't recommend that one if you're trying to attach to your toner, but if you're trying to kind of clear out a semi-permanent mistake, I really recommend the big shampoo. You can see it here, it's very salty, which is great for volume and exfoliation too. What else are we using here? Sticky Dates, lovely. I'm really enjoying this conditioner as well, but I'm here to show you my skincare. I use this pretty much every day and I find it helps keep my skin quite clear. I always need to have like AHA in my skincare routine to keep my skin looking clear, and Medicate is what I'm using at the moment. And I feel like a lot of people underestimate face masks. I'm a big fan of Phase 3. This AHA mask is really good when I feel like my skin's gotten a bit dull and that it needs like a layer off of it, I guess. And I find that Evolve do really nice masks as well. This one's so lovely, the Radiant Glow. And where's the gold ones? It's the gold and like a miracle mask as well. I think they just do some of the best ones. Also this one too, the Bioretinol Gold Mask is stunning. So those are my skincare recommendations, but I will do a skincare routine video sometime this month, I promise. Got a question about juicing. How's the juicing going? I will say I'm not as enthused by it in the winter as I am in the summer, but I am still really enjoying it, and I'm glad I bought my juicer. It was like a big purchase. I think I was mulling over for 4 years. I got the Nama J3, which is quite small, so good for like a shared kitchen where I can't take up too much space basically, but me and my other housemate, we use it a lot, so I feel like it's out every week, if not more, and definitely more in the summer too. So yeah, I love my juicer. I also find it so good for food waste, like broccoli stems and any veg that I've got which is going a bit soft. Like I had some carrots that were going a bit soft and I just like throw them in my juicer and then put them in a bit of fruit and it will all taste good. So I think it's really good for kind of helping with the food waste. And finally, wow, vegan influencers dating meat eaters always confuses me, almost all do. It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. I'm gonna make a case for this because I also understand like not everyone is comfortable dating a meat eater. That's fine, we've all got our own preferences. It's not really that off-putting to me. I think going vegan in 2007, I didn't know any other vegans. I think I just really adjusted very early on to accepting that the rest of the world wasn't vegan and having to kind of like move on with that. So yeah, you know, I love my family, but they're not vegan, and I think I'm able to extend that when I go forward in dating. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, I'm just saying that's me, and I understand it's not right for everyone. But when we talk about like activism and like animal rights and progress, two vegans dating, no one's going more vegan, right? They're just two vegans doing vegan things, and if they weren't together, there'd be two vegans doing vegan things. Whereas where I'm dating like a meat eater, when we go out, we try out vegan restaurants, he's trying out vegan food. When I'm cooking for him, it's all vegan. So he's eating way more vegan meals than he ever would have done if he never met me. So every meal that he eats vegan is helping the animals. Activism wise, it is the best choice to actually date a meat eater. I understand not everyone can stomach it, and it's not the activism for everyone. Honestly, I feel like, you know, it's so hard to find love in this world that if you find someone, I wouldn't let their diet kind of get in the way of being with them. Also, like the two long-term partners I've had in my like 20s, both of them went vegetarian after 18 months. So just because they're not vegan now doesn't mean they won't eventually go vegan or vegetarian and cut out meat. But also I never once pressured them. I don't think anyone likes to feel bullied into doing something like that or nagged about what they're eating or disrespecting their beliefs. I expect someone I date to respect what I'm eating and my choices, and I extend that back in return. I don't agree with them, but that's their choice, and I don't think berating them or trying to convert them is going to be productive. It doesn't get there. So sure, I might have to wait a bit longer for them to come around to veganism, but I can't control other people, you know? But I think just quietly living your life vegan and well, like them seeing that you're eating well, that you're living well, and that's not that hard, they just make the switch eventually. But I think we're gonna do a whole video on that because I feel like I've got a lot to say. But yes, I'm gonna cut it off there, but thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you guys are enjoying these videos, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Mwah.